Justin here with the Atlanta Brick Co. And you guys love to see how we process stuff. Well, today we're talking to the minifig processing experts. We have Tracy and Nathan, and they are the family that takes our bulk minifigs and figures out what to do with them. And there's a lot involved in that. Now, Tracy, tell us how you kind of discovered the store and how you got into this whole Lego minifig madness.
Yeah, so we were at the store when it was at its previous location. And then it moved over here, and I was teaching the homeschool classes as well as a robotics class, but life has shifted in the past year, and so now we're doing more sorting and organizing as well as inventorying. I'm one of the inventory specialists, and I help train some of the other ladies, and we do minifigs. We get a lot of minifigs in trade, and so we take them home, and we have an organization method that we use to organize them all by theme, and then further sub-theme if we need to, and then ultimately they go out in the store for people to buy.
And how did you guys get into minifigs specifically?
Well, Nathan loves minifigs, and my husband has been helping, and it was just one of the things that we saw the need and talked to Chris about it, and we just started taking a small amount home, which just grew, and now we take bins when we get them full from trades or other places.
And you guys do most of the minifig sorting at home, or almost all of it, really.
Yeah.
Tell me about your trip into Lego and into our store. Obviously, you're a huge Lego fan.
Yeah.
This guy, he loves modulars, so anytime we get a modular, he cashes in his dibs for those. But you're also a big minifig fan, I assume. Tell us how you kind of got into all this. Were you just drug in by your parents?
Well, it started when she had a tub of Lego from her childhood, and I just, once she got it out, and I just started playing with it and loved it.
There's no going back.
No.
No going back. See, he has so much energy. He's just wheeling back and forth. He cannot stay still. He's ready.
So excited to get into it.
He's ready to get into these figs. All right, so just to set the stage a little bit, we get huge amount of figs. We sell figs in collector grade quality, whether they're high price figs or not. So we have to weed out we have to weed out stuff with bite marks, stuff that's broken, and this is crazy, but we get tons and tons of figs that are all mixed up. Completely. People take the hands off and switch them with the wrong torso
wrong head,
wrong hair.
Everything.
And it is so difficult. You have to really know these figs. How long did it take you guys to get to where you could just look at a fig and say, oh, that's the wrong head, that's the wrong hair?
Probably at least a year. And Nathan just loves looking them up. Like, he'll find, where are these pants from? And he'll go and look that pair of pants up on Bricklink until he can figure out which theme and which character and which set wore those pants.
If it all came like in one collection, say we had the rest of this basketball player. The arms are wrong. That head is Harry Potter. The arms and the head and the hair and the legs and everything else might be in that same
collection,
so
just on another figure.
Okay.
Yes, that's a hope.
Sometimes if it's like a really expensive figure, like some of the Lord of the Rings figures, I don't know what it is, I'll look it up.
They are going to show us how we get to it. I'm going to get behind the camera. And
we can show you the different themes and how we break them up so that you can see where the bins are.
Okay, and then we'll take you through and where they go after that, and of course further sorting that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
So, you guys ready to get to it?
Ready, let's do it.
Let's go! The table is set. As you can see, we have lots and lots of bins, little buckets and cups of minifigs divided roughly into theme. So, I'm going to give you a close-up, and they're going to explain what they do. There is a lot of figs here. Look at that. Oh my goodness. How do you keep track of all this? That is nuts. Well, they're going to tell you how. All right, Tracy, Nathan, what is the first step in the process? So you get a huge pile of this, and then what do?
We just basically go through it, like that series, that's Pirates, wherever Pirates wandered off to.
So this is an example of a fig that has...
This is a castle helmet.
Castle helmet.
This is Lord Business's head from the Lego Movie. This is Ninjago skeletons. This is Agents.
An agent's torso.
Agent's torso. And then this is Nexo Knights.
The pants. So that was nothing that was supposed to be together. All the parts were different. So we separated that minifig and put it in whichever bin they should have gone into.
How long does this take? And like, what is your estimate for a size this big?
It can take about 2 hours just to even do one small tray, and we may be pouring from a huge bucket of minifigs because we have to really look and see if the fig looks complete or if it needs to be taken apart and divvied out according to the parts into other bins.
A haul this size, you're saying about 2 hours.
Yes. And then we would spend further time looking up the actual torso or minifigs. We take the bin of heads and just throw it in heads. This would be a DC, so we would put him in DC. Several of the bins will get a second sort. City is a huge theme, so that will get a second sort. Star Wars has a big Star Wars and then a Star Wars clones, but the Star Wars will get a second sort. Marvel will get a second sort. Sometimes series into the number of the series that it is will get a second sort. Friends definitely gets a second sort. Angie helps us with that. Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, so that would get a second sort there.
What do you guys do when you see, like, say, oh, I see a Batman. I don't know if those are the right legs, though. It matches the right torso. Do you just throw them in DC and then someone else gets it later?
Or sometimes we'll do a second sort, depending on how fast they need replacement DC characters or Hobbit characters, Star Wars characters.
This right here, he's supposed to have mini legs and a small black cape. This is one of the micro.
The micro fighters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But then we also deal with, we have some examples here. This is a non-Lego Fago fig. There's not Lego on there at all. We have some
This is not Lego either.
that we are able to just tell by the colors and the texture of the plastic, and we know that it's not. We have some that are terrible quality. They have bite marks on them. This one has Sharpie do-it-yourself legs. We have some that...
This is an expensive figure, the Golden Lloyd, but...
The quality of it is terrible.
Yeah.
Is there anything salvageable on that figure? Maybe the head or the torso?
The arms and the hands, if they're not cracked.
Yep, that has bite marks on it right there.
Wow, so what would we... Some of these figures we throw in the bargain bin, but
That's
some of them
correct.
are so bad we just throw them away, right?
Yeah, and then some of them can go in the pick-a-brick and the pick-a-fig tables that we have. Some of the parts and pieces can go into that.
It's a battle-damaged Lloyd.
We also have, like, this is a Minecraft head on here, which is clearly not what a Minecraft figure would look like.
This has all mixed up.
Oh, he's very mixed up. This is marker, make it yourself head.
Someone got artistic.
And yes, this is missing a whole leg, so in that case, that would just get thrown away because we can't repair that.
This is an expensive figure. It only came in one set, and look at his legs.
Terrible quality.
Yeah.
So we also get a lot of just parts that are not minifig at all. So we have a panel, we have a plant piece. So those go into a bin that we call parts that goes over here. We also get a lot of accessories, weapons, tools, things that we can use for the minifigs, but we just put them in a bin. We set minifigs on here for display in the store. So we'll just put these, and these we have a separate person that sorts out minifig accessories.
What is the most odd thing you found, be it Lego or not Lego, in one of these collections that you guys took home?
Probably a raisin.
A raisin?
Raisin, yes.
You didn't eat it, did you?
No.
Well, I mean, it's a raisin, so it's probably okay, right?
I mean, yeah, but that's probably one of the oddest things. We found a lot of coins.
Yeah, sometimes we find pennies or nickels.
And Canadian
coins.
Far off land coins.
We would pull out anything that is not minifig related. This guy has a full backpack on, whether that actually came with him or not. We would double check that before he would go in the bag.
So there is a lot of stopping and looking it up, or you just save that for a later stage.
Yes, we have a bin that is just for lookup that we will look up at a later time. And a lot of times we'll find several of the same pair of pants that we don't know, so we'll put it in the lookup bin. And then once we find what those pants go to, then we'll put it in the correct theme.
Just scanning this right here, I thought I saw Padme's hair, that $90 Padme Princess Amidala hair somewhere. What is the most like wow, awesome thing that you guys ever found in one of these collections?
Probably the
Cloud City figures.
Cloud City figures.
Those things are very expensive.
The Cloud City Luke legs, those are very expensive. The Cloud City Lando cape. A dual molded cape. Chrome black Darth Vader.
Yes.
I didn't know they even made this.
That's chrome. That's very hard to have good condition because the chrome flecks off.
It's very scratched at the bottom there.
I didn't even know they made that in chrome. Do you guys have a favorite series to sort?
I like Star Wars, definitely.
I would imagine Star Wars is very difficult because, for instance, the Stormtroopers, they'll remake the same exact Stormtrooper but slightly change the print. You have to know that print so well. Is that something you have to constantly look up?
Yeah, so we throw all of our clones in here.
In this one clones bin, and then we'll do a second sort. Or a third sort.
So Stormtroopers we throw in here since they're technically clones.
What is the absolute worst theme or type of minifigure to sort that's really, really difficult?
Obviously a theme that you don't know very well, like Monster Fighters and Western.
How about you? Is there a theme that's your bane?
City is hard because a lot of times you don't know if it's a city character from a city set or if it's a city-like figure from a Ninjago movie or the Lego movie. And it's hard to know. Or maybe it's a series figure from a series, 10 series ago that just looks like a city figure.
One of the other things is the Viking line. We get those confused with the Hobbit dwarfs and the Viking dwarfs.
Oh yeah, so if they don't have their heads, because obviously the Vikings would have yellow heads and hands, but if they're mixed up, you'd have to stop and look that up. So this is some pro level stuff. This is not for amateurs. This is hard stuff. You have to know the figures really well to do this. And across themes you don't even collect or even like. You have to know it all. You guys, I do not envy your job.
It's a lot of fun. You get used to seeing some of the same figures over and over. And you get excited when you find a figure that you haven't seen before or when you're looking for that torso to make a complete figure. And it's in good condition. That's a big piece to this whole process is you sometimes find it, but it has a crack or it has a bite mark or it has a Sharpie line on it. Some type of damage.
We'll let you get to it. So did you guys ever find anything scary or dangerous? Just sorting through, I mean, you're blindly digging your hands through stuff.
Yeah, we found nails and screws, staples.
Have you ever gotten cut?
No, not cut. We did have an exciting experience where a pen exploded and the ink had been leaking out and it leaked all over a bunch of figs and then of course it got all on our hands.
You had to throw all those figs away or could you clean them up?
No, they had to get thrown away because they were like saturated in the ink.
And I heard some of the sorting guys found
a tooth.
Oh.
Yes, they found a tooth in the sorting,
Where did you get all these nice little blue containers?
They're actually mushroom containers from the produce in the grocery store. My mom saves them, and the color blue is easier to bind your figs in rather than having a really dark black container. And then the clear containers, because you can see through them, it's hard to distinguish which bin. So it's good to have a boundary of a color, so the blue is kind of a good color to have.
It's a shade of blue I noticed that is in between like Lego's dark blue and regular blue.
So it works out perfect.
Wow, that took a while, and we weren't even halfway through. I had to constantly stop and ask Nathan, what is this? Where does this go to? Is this city or is this space? Is this whatever? This guy right here knows. He knows. Do not be fooled by his age. He knows minifigures. You've been doing this for how long? 2 years. He has like a master level degree in minifig knowledge. And Tracy's no slouch either.
Oh, well.
Now you'll notice that there's way less buckets than there are themes. For instance, I found a time cruiser figure and I was asking them, okay, where do we go with this? This was a line that only lasted like 2 years. What do I do with this? And where do we put time cruisers?
They just go in city.
They just go in city. So the big bins that get an extra sorting, basically city, Star Wars. I was asking earlier about what are some of the coolest finds you've ever seen just in a collection. Nathan found this. If you've watched our Animals vodcast, this is the rarest color, the most expensive parrot. He was just chilling, just just hanging out with here, so I'm going to put him with our animals after I admire him for a little bit. He looked like the color of Jell-O to me. Is there anything that's really tedious about this process for you?
Try not to break the figures. If it's an expensive figure and it has a cracked arm and you want to take it off and replace it.
Oh, so if you find a figure that's mostly good, but then it has a cracked arm and it's like, oh, this is the Cloud City Boba Fett. I gotta be super... Do you let him handle that, or...
I might as well bring it in for Chris to do.
Oh, okay. All right. That way, if the boss breaks it, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
We'll show him what we found, and then he'll make any modifications to it.
Well, we're going to go upstairs and show you what we do when bins get full and what the final product looks like.
All right, so now we are here in our back room where we have gallon bags full of those themes that we were sorting downstairs. And this bin is full of Star Wars clones. So let's take a look. So here we have a whole gallon bag of these guys with the same torso. The heads maybe not correct, but the torsos should all mostly be correct. There's another bag here. We have the light bluish gray torso with the black heads for most of these guys.
So this is considered the second sorting. So after we're done with what we were showing downstairs, this is where it goes.
Yeah, we've done a second sort on these. So now these guys are ready to be built into figures that we'll put into the case.
And who does that?
We do some of it, and then some of the employees out front build some of the different themes. We have a couple of employees that are really good with Marvel or Star Wars or maybe Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. So they would be the guys that would want to build those figures. Here's all white pants with the black hips that we would put on the clones. The stormtroopers.
That's a lot of legs.
That's a lot of legs. So here's even further sorted with Star Wars. So we do have some clones. We have all the droid bodies. So you can see arms and legs that we could assemble into different clones from the different series of Star Wars. We have bounty hunters and aliens. They would be sorted and ready to build. Here's some unsorted parts that need to be sorted into these. All these Sith guys here. Some of the newer figures from the movies and shows. Alliance. Look at all these guys. These guys are all ready to be built and put together for our Star Wars bins. This is Ed's favorite.
Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. We have a bin for Jedis, all the different Jedis, and of course Jedis need their lightsabers. So we have lightsabers ready to be built. We have some of the rebels right here, some of the other troopers, the orange pants and legs, lots and lots of troopers here. The tan and white hips and legs in there. We have some of the animals, of course, that go to the different series. So this is the final product that's in the case for customers to see. You can see all the different Star Wars figures, the troopers, the clones, the rebels. We just have blocks and blocks of them. They're also online, so people can order them, and they have their SW and then 4-digit number following so that we can identify which one. There's so many different ones with the specifications of the torso or the helmet or the legs being different. We have some of the other stormtroopers, speeders on this side, the bomber pilots, the other characters that we see in some of the series.
Alright, so that's for various quests. That shouldn't be in here unless we just all dump it together. Send in the clones.
So you see here we have lots of them lined up for purchase. We have droids and clones.
Good army builder.
Yes, absolutely. We have lots of armies that you can too have at your house.
And this is essentially like getting one free. Buy 4, you get 1 free. This is a finished look at our series figures. We go all the way back to Series 1. And we don't have them all, because of course some are more popular than others. They get bought up, but when we get them, we try to restock this as quickly as we can, because these are pretty popular. Do you guys have a favorite series?
This guy is definitely cool there. That one. I like that one.
We're all the way into series 21 now, so we have a lot of series to choose from.
Wow, that was very tedious.
You learned a lot.
I did learn a lot. I was actually originally hired to put minifigs online, so I understood how detailed you had to be. And like I mentioned before, I didn't even touch Star Wars, but to me, Star Wars scares me because they've redone certain figures like the clones so many times with just slight, like, oh, this line on his torso is thicker on this old version, and you have to know the difference. So when you see this, it's like, oh no, that's the thick line and I have to switch it. That is insane to me. And the fact that you guys learn this in a few years, but I guess you do it so much. Now this of course is a mock-up of their system, the one they actually have at home. Can you kind of describe what that looks like the real version?
So we have a couple more bins that we didn't bring in here just for space purposes, and then we also have containers and bags that we dump these into for us to do further sorts.
And like when they're full, like this Ninjago bin.
Then we can do our second sort on those bins or those bags.
They were telling me that this first sort goes pretty quickly, relatively speaking, because you're very generally sorting them. Like all space goes in the same one.
All space.
Ice Planet, Space Police 2, Space Police 1, M-Tron, Blacktron, that all goes to space, and then it gets another space rake through.
Yes.
When you're going to that second level of sorting, is there a theme that's the most, I know, wake up, buddy. Is there a theme that is the most tedious? Is there one you kind of dread? Or on the opposite side, is there one like, yeah, I can't wait to get to those Indiana Jones / Prince of Persia / Disney?
The Star Wars is exciting because they made so many different figures. They made 5 of the same figure that has one small difference. Why did they just make that?
So you actually enjoy the challenge. So when I was saying that scares me to heck. That he actually enjoys the challenge of looking at all. This is the 2000 clone trooper, and this is the 2001 clone trooper. Wow. How about you?
Oh, I think just going back to city. The city is so hard because is it strictly city, like the theme city, or is it a city fig that was in Lego Movie 1 versus Lego Movie 2? Or was it a city fig from, maybe DC or Marvel? There's so many just regular city-looking people, and it's or a series. A series has some city-looking people, and it's hard to know which one you're looking at.
How about your favorite one? Is there one that excites you? Like, yes, I get to do the Marvel now.
I like the Friends girls. Those are fun. Angie does a lot of the Friends. I also just like to look at Harry Potter because we've read all those books, and it's fun to see how they make the characters in the Lego form.
This is the family that handles a lot of our Star Wars. Their basement is lined with half-constructed and half-completed Star Wars sets. And so when you see new Star Wars sets or refurbished sets hit our shelves, this is the family that handles that. So you guys are Figs and Star Wars.
Yes.
How'd you get roped into that? Well, you said you started as inventory, and it just kind of like
inventory.
Naturally steered you into doing just Star Wars inventory.
Yes, we did. When we split up who was going to be doing which theme, I just happened to be grabbing a lot of Star Wars, and so I just started and continued, and Nathan helps me with the figs. He'll a lot of times find the figs for the sets if they're missing, or he'll say, oh, that head is wrong for that. Let me go get the right head. And he knows that.
So when you guys sit down and do this as a family, do you guys listen to music, watch a movie?
Both.
Okay.
Sometimes we watch you on your wonderful YouTube. I know, right?
Click, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell.
That's right. So we do the Star Watch, some of the Star Wars, some of the other just Disney movies we'll put on sometimes, and music too.
I imagine you have to have really good lighting to see like cracked torsos or see the difference between old gray and new gray.
Yes,
what do you guys use at home? What's your setup?
Yeah, so actually we have similar lights to what you use just for filming. We have really bright lights that have the snake necks that we can lower and get real close and examine them. I have my own that I look at for pieces when I'm doing the Star Wars set, so I can see if the pieces are dirty, if it's light gray or light bluish gray.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming on the show. So if you guys see some figs up here, it is thanks to them that we even have this constant stream of figures coming into the store and those awesome Star Wars sets that you guys love so much, it is thanks to them. So I'd like to do a video at your house one time in your basement about how you do just the Star Wars sets, because I haven't been there, I haven't seen it, but I've heard it is something to behold. It would make any Lego Star Wars fans just drool.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. So don't glue your Lego.
We're on to you.